It's weekly rotation time again, and thank you for coming back to the channel and watching. I am a little bit later than I usually am with this particular video, and as you can see, I'm in a different location, just a few things happening around the house at the moment. So I'm going to start off with the samples and decants that I wore in the last week. So there was one that I did empty, and you obviously can't see what that is. This is Zest de Gingembre by James Heeley. Now, I have been a fan of Heeley perfumes, freshies, in particular Celle Marine and Montfresh, which I really, really enjoyed. And I really enjoy the opening of this particular one, but unfortunately all I get on my skin is the opening, and then I literally cannot smell it anymore. So as good as it smells when it's sprayed on, it's probably not one that I'm going to pursue. Then I also wore my dwindling sample of Lidge, L'instant de Guerlain, Parfum. This is the EDT. It hasn't really made an impact on me so far. I can understand maybe when it was released that it was something different, this combination of citruses and cocoa. And to me, I would actually really like to have a bit more patchouli in that perfume. So we'll see how we go. But it's not one that I'm going to get too excited about. Then my travel spray, nearly done, of A Pomme pour Homme by Maison Francis Kurkdjian, one of my very favourite orange blossom perfumes, but apparently discontinued. And finally, from my samples /decants, I also wore Le Lion yesterday, and it's still one that I really love. And once I actually have another smaller another decant, so I'll get through that, but I will get a bottle of this at some point. So on Monday, what you will notice this week was that there are quite a few fresher perfumes, and that's mainly because the weather has been really warm in this last week. So on Monday, I started off with Azimor Les Orangeux by Parfum d'Empire, beautiful, super realistic orange tree in a dry forest, because when it dries down, I get this kind of really almost bitter, ashy oak moss note in the dry down, which gives it a point of reference. This is like a fresh citrus chypre structure, really, and I really, really enjoy it. And then ended the hot afternoon with the very refreshing, always refreshing Mugler cologne, which I believe doesn't come in this form anymore. Next day, started the morning with Lagerfeld Classic from Karl Lagerfeld. Still smells great to me. It's a little bit, I guess it's a little bit divisive because of its powderiness. I love its, there's a very defined sparkle in the opening due to aldehydes. There's this orangey zest amber accord that runs through it, which, basically turns powdery, but it's still pretty unique because I don't smell much on the market that is very similar to this. Then the wonderful Pomme Monsieur by Chanel for the warmer afternoon. On Wednesday, I started the day off with Habit Rouge Privé. This has turned out to be one of my best impulse buys. I mean, it wasn't a blind buy. I had smelled it. It was due to I smelled it through blind testing, and it was one that I really liked. And normally my normal practice is that I wouldn't buy a bottle until I've kind of worn something several times, but there was a little bit of FOMO with this one because this, when it was released, was announced as a kind of limited run, and so I just wanted to make sure I had a bottle, but I've been rewarded because every time I've worn it so far, it's just gotten better and better. And then this is kind of a no-brainer. Ended the day with Eau Sauvage, the EDT. Just, you can't not smell good wearing this. So I can't imagine anyone dousing themselves with this and anyone around them complaining. Thursday, apart from one of the decants I wore, I started with Antaeus, and it's surprisingly a good perfume to wear, not at the heat of the day, but even if it's going to be a warm day, if you spray it on early and you don't overspray, I think some of the herbalness and the rose in particular really blooms on the skin, for me at least anyway. But that's Antaeus. On Friday, one of my favourite perfumes that I don't wear often enough, The Afternoon of a Fawn by Etat Libre d'Orange. Again, another rose that I like, and Immortelle herb. In some ways, it's really strange because you can use the same. You could almost use a very similar pyramid for Chanel Antaeus and The Afternoon of a Fawn, and they have a similar vibe, but they're completely different perfumes characteristically. Definitely the Antaeus is a darker perfume and more brooding, whereas The Afternoon of the Fawn has almost the opposite vibe to Antaeus. So rose, this one has Immortelle, but there is a herbalness with this one, like the Antaeus. Antaeus has got oak moss. There is a mossiness in this one, but the dry downs are completely different. So please don't think that I'm saying that they're similar, but for two perfumes, it's one example where you can have similar structures, but, based on how different ingredients and materials are used, you can come out with two amazingly different perfumes. And on Saturday, one of my favorite dry downs of all time, Héritage Eau de Toilette by Guerlain. Sunday, so I'm recording this on a Monday. Yesterday, I ended the day with this particular sample, and what I do want to say about this is that this is Methexis by Manos Gerakines, and I discovered this at the beginning of the year, this brand, and I can't remember why I chose to test this particular perfume first, but as a non-lover of gourmand perfumes, first of all, let me say that this is easily probably, it is. It's the best gourmand, what I classify as a gourmand perfume that I've ever worn. And the best thing about that is that when I spray it on, it's not a conscious thing that I'm saying, oh, I'm wearing a gourmand, but it's nice. I just appreciate it for the perfume and why and how it works really well on my skin. I mentioned this before, ripe fig fruit blended with a dark, not bitter, perfectly balanced between sweet and bitter cocoa, among other things, but they're the two dominant forces when it comes to propelling the perfume on the skin, and it just smells absolutely delectable. So that's my week in perfume, and I hope you enjoyed it. Let me know what you've been wearing this week, and I'll see you soon. Bye.